because it's what's burning in my mind. The 136-meter dive that you did, would you mind? Can we look at it from a scientific perspective first? What's happening to your body, the physiology of your body when you get to 136? And then let's actually talk about the internal dialogue as well. But first, can you break down what's happening underneath the skin to your body when you drop down to that crazy depth?
Let's look at the pressure. I think the pressure
Yeah.
will be the main focus. And there is change of pressure, and at 136, it's almost 15 atmospheres. So it's 15 times, like at 140, it will be 15 times higher pressure than on the surface. Every 10 meters, there's another atmosphere. That on the surface, we have one, and then at 10 meters, we have two, 20 meters, we have three. So at 140 meters, it's 15 atmospheres. And then everything, like if you think of something with gas inside, like our lungs, it will compress 15 times. And also air in our sinuses, in the middle ear, it will be compressed as well. That's why when we dive, we have to equalize our ears. So basically, we have to deal with pressure compressing everything which contains gas. Like for our body, for the arms and legs, it doesn't really matter. Like it's not compressible. Everything which has gas inside is compressible. So lungs adapt. We have to train our lungs. We do breath work, breathing exercises, like full inhale exercises, full exhale exercises. Like we train our lungs to be stronger, more like flexible, and be very aware of the breathing muscles, because if underwater at this pressure I would be tense, I wouldn't allow my body to adapt. So to allow my body to adapt to this pressure, like I have to develop this awareness, sensitivity, and range of motion, and strength and flexibility of my lungs and breathing muscles. So that's one. If I do these exercises and I adapt very gradually, then my lungs will adapt. Like our body can adapt. It's like a lot of freedivers would be able to dive 50 meters after a few months of training. It's still considered to be recreational level. Like 50 meters is available to almost anyone. Like 30 meters is available to anyone within a few weeks time being at the sea. So like it might require a couple of trips, maybe like 3 days, one trip, like another week, another trip. And then, but within a few weeks, actual practice at sea, 30 meters is available. It's already like pretty impressive depth. And then with gradual progress, then you just go deeper, like 40 meters, 50 meters. It doesn't, you don't need to be athlete, competitive freediver to dive 50 meters. And then like some years later, then you can get 200 meters anymore, like I did. So that's one, that's lungs compression. And then technique to equalize the ears. Same thing happens to your sinuses and the air inside your middle ears. That's why we feel the like pain in our ears when we dive. And then there is technique to equalize the pressure. We get the air from our lungs, get it into our mouth and neck space, and then we push it into our ears. And at great depth, we don't want to like tense up our breathing muscles when we dive. It's all in our mouth space and the neck.
At what depth do you start doing that? Literally, you do those motions that you bring the breath into your mouth. At what depth do you start doing that?
We want to equalize your ears every meter, every 2 meters.
So you're
So
doing
I
it all the
started
time.
this all the time. It just becomes so efficient, like you don't even think about it. So
Oh.
the goal of the practice, is to make it so easy, so uh, like almost automatic, and then it's something you do all the time. So there is pressure, dealing with pressure with lungs, dealing with pressure with our sinuses and middle ear, and then there is we need efficiency in technique to spend less, like to use less oxygen. We need streamline as well to spend less oxygen to move through the water as effortless as possible. And also there is some like because of pressure changes, there is nitrogen narcosis which happens in scuba diving, but in freediving as well. So when we dive, nitrogen dissolves in our tissues, affects our nervous system, and then we feel like a little bit slower than on the surface. And then we want to keep the focus, still be focused and very efficient, even though we feel a little bit sleepy, a little bit like slow. Our nervous systems, the signals are like they have a bit of resistance. and that's the challenge. You're there like at this depth, a bit narked, like hypoxic. You want to breathe, especially on the way up. You have contractions, like urge to breathe,
Mm.
and the challenge is like, okay, like how to stay calm, how to stay efficient while if you feel that, while you feel the urge to breathe, and maybe there is even, it could be a little bit even like panicky sensation when you know it's another 50 meters or 100 meters before the surface. Like in deep diving, there is this challenge of staying calm while knowing you have to cover this distance to even to be able to breathe.
Is there on the rope that you follow down to where the card is at the bottom of that sort of little bell thing? Is there markers to let you know how far you have achieved, how far down you are?
Yes, yeah, we have alarms. I have my watch, like which like signals right into my ear, and I put alarms in my watch. I go down. I have alarm at 20 meters, at 45 meters, just to give me a hint where I am, how
Yeah.
fast am I free falling. Because of the change of the pressure, my lung size changes. On the surface, I have full lungs at like 40 meters already, 50 meters. My lungs compressed almost to the minimum volume. And then because my lungs compress, my buoyancy changes. I free fall with the speed of 1 meter per second because my
1 meter
weight is
per
the
second.
same. It's a change of buoyancy. Like we have our weight. Let's say I'm 90 kilograms, and my buoyancy is a force consists of my body volume pushing the water out, right? So, for example, my buoyancy force is more than 90 kilograms. Like it's at the surface, I push out 95 kilograms of water. So that means that I'm +5 in terms of buoyancy. But as soon as I'm diving, my lungs compress, and I'm still 90 kilograms, but I'm just more dense. So I'm 90 kilograms, but my smaller body size pushes out of the ocean just, let's say, 85 kilograms of water because my volume got smaller. So I'm negatively buoyant. And then because I'm negatively buoyant, I free fall. And I can free fall like up to the speed is about 1 meter per second.
And at what depth do you start to free fall?
Uh, at competition, when I use almost no weight, it's 25 meters, 20 to 25 meters.
Yes.
When we swim like recreationally and it's shallower dives, I have some extra weight to be neutrally buoyant at 15 meters or 10 meters. But when it's really deep dive, I don't want any weight. So I don't want to carry extra weight on the way up. That's
Coming
another
back up,
stress.
yeah, I can imagine it's
Yeah,
hard to
yeah,
come
yeah,
up. Yeah, and so
yeah.
it's not like, if someone falls and it's 9.8 meters per second until you reach terminal velocity, you don't get faster than 1 meter per second. If you were 110 kilos, would you go faster than 1 meter per second? Like, are there bigger divers out there that fall faster
Mhm.
than you, or everyone's the same?
It's pretty much the same. It can be plus minus 0.1, 0.2.
Okay.
Because bigger divers, the guys who would be 110 kilograms, they likely would be bigger. Also, their resistance will be bigger. So because of resistance,
More frontal
uh,
resistance.
it's the speed like which we observe with free divers. That's like a standard speed. Then light people, like they will be smaller, less resistance. There is this balance, like the weight versus resistance. So the water, because it's so dense, it creates this equilibrium, like